Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Greetings. Martine, you're muted. All right, hello, welcome everybody. I'm sure a few more people will join here, but got you all in here. Great to see everyone's faces.
I really like the Terasem flag backdrop.
Yeah, it's great.
It's cyberspace.
Yeah, it works really well, and I like being right in the middle of the infinity symbol when you
Perfect.
Welcome everybody.
Oh, now right in the middle. It looks awesome.
Yes, thanks.
Gabe, I like the Alex Gray backdrop.
Yes, right there, and I fit kind of perfectly like in the head.
Wonder why I'm sideways. How did that happen?
There you go.
Yeah, maybe. Are you using the phone?
Yeah, I am using the phone. Okay, it's fixed.
Yep. Well, awesome. Yeah, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining. And as always, we like to begin with any art sharing, poetry, other works of creativity. So if you have any of that, you're welcome to bring it forth.
Sure, I have something.
Great.
And also first I'd like to kind of share that the audio versions of the Truths of Terasem are up on YouTube. So if anybody would like to use that for your kind of education persistently stuff, like it's up there. So go check that out. Yeah. So I wrote this, just something like, just a start to writing about Terasem. So I like to read it. Daily life can be hard. Life can be tough. For the individual, for chosen family, for Earth, and for Earth's innocently suffering millions. Terasem is dear God in the making, and partial godness exists to the extent that the collective consciousness of Terasem now prevails. What is our mission? To achieve diversity, unity, and joyful immortality everywhere. How can this be done? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the collective consciousness of Terasem and to the principles for which it stands: education persistently, education persistently, education persistently. Imagine, envision, engage, dare to dream of joyful futures experienced in Terasem, because all things must be conceived, then believed in until they are achieved. During Terasem connections, breathe, stretch, and speak, but also listen. Loving is Terasem, and through persistent education, we have a shot at solving whatever problems come our way. Not only knowing the why of Terasem, but feeling the why of Terasem will guide our way on. H.G. Wells once said, "History is a race between education and catastrophe." Therefore, let's take daily life one moment at a time, share our lifeline with fellow inspirants of Terasem, education persistently, And even though the walls seem high, don't give up. As Terasem rises, we all rise too.
Woo! Woo! Rock on!
Yeah,
Very good.
thank you.
Derek, that was like a mixtape of the Truths of Terasem. It was so cool.
Yeah,
Totally
you.
cool.
Yeah, that was great. Super amazing. Another beautiful contribution to the conversation at Terasem, Derek. And yeah, you just continue to really absorb and share and transmit, you know, just a beautiful radiance. And thank you for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, while anyone else is queuing to go, Derek did mention the Truths of Terasem meditations. There are now spoken Truths of Terasems in its entirety with a few different voices and options with or without music available on the Transreligion YouTube. It is just, you know, great, you know, while doing Terasem connections or just your regular you know, yoga or walk or just kind of backgrounds while maybe you're doing the dishes. It's just a great way to, you know, absorb, you know, Terasem, especially I think that the higher number meditation.
528, yeah.
528 meditation, yeah, is particularly amazing. So yeah, not only are the gatherings, colloquiums, the seders, a number of the connections, and also these meditations available in our Transreligion YouTube. And I'm actually going to navigate there quickly. Here we go. So we can all see this. So
This is the Terasem YouTube channel you're navigating to?
yes.
Cool. Whoa. Whoa. Yeah, I streamed through the whole thing. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was absolutely amazing. So beautifully executed, implemented. You know, another just idea, Derek or Gabe, is just like that like, you know, poem, if I could say that, that Derek just made. That would be totally astonishing, set to any kind of music and uploaded to YouTube as well. And one thought that just comes to mind, Gabriel's got this friend who is really like an amazingly talented rapper. His name is Dan, I think Pomerantz, Pomerantz, something, yeah. And you know, I mean, whether Derek does it himself or in collaboration with Dan, I think it could be like a major artistic contribution.
Cool. Yeah, that's an interesting idea. Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely,
I really
yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah, so I mean, again, just a lot of marvelous contributions. So I just wanted to throw that out there, and it's accessible right now for you know, for anyone who wants to. And I'm sure that in pretty soon we can have it in other formats, as YouTube is preferable for some, but not for all. That'd be great to get that in like just an MP3 file or something. And as we used to distribute on those USB drives.
You know, just another like crazy idea is that, you know, given the amazing work that Ruben did on the translation of the Truths of Terasem to Spanish, I wonder if we could, like, you know, upload the Spanish language version as well. And maybe even if, like, you know, Derek's new poem could even be translated into Spanish or even made into a combination of like Spanglish, you know, because not every word might like totally translate or whatever. That would be another huge contribution. I don't see Ruben
Yeah.
online today, but
Ruben did join. Yep, he's here with
Oh.
us. Welcome, Ruben.
I've just got this small phone, so I can only like see so many people.
Good morning.
Hey, good
Good
morning,
morning.
Ruben. Good to hear you.
Yes,
boy.
I am in another site now. That's why perhaps it looks strange. I am in the garden. Congratulations one more time to Derek for his wonderful works. Yeah.
Well, if nobody is ready to jump in with anything to share, I would like to, point to Julio, and then we'll follow with Mike.
Oh, okay. Well, I just want to say something quickly. Today happens to be the day of our liquid nitrogen delivery, and sometimes it comes in the morning. I might have to get up and leave, and if I do, I'll try to rejoin when it's over, but I may not. So I'll do what I can. Okay.
Excellent. We all appreciate the importance of your work. So absolutely, no harm, no
Okay.
foul. Yeah. And so Julio, I think, has an announcement as well. So I'm going to let Julio go with that if he's willing.
Yeah, great. I'm going to make I have a couple of things to say. I'm going to make a test of whether I can share my screen. Last month it didn't work. So if it doesn't work in 30 seconds, I will ask you to screen share for me. So in the meantime, while I try, if you can just go to my website, turingchurch.com, and open the most recent post. But I hope. Okay, share screen. Okay, so what is happening now? What do you see on my screen?
We see the new adventures in the VR metaverse.
Okay, so let's not start with this. First, we did a conversation with Derek a couple of days ago on the Discord channel. I made the recording test, and I liked the result very much. At least as far as the audio is concerned, is much better than Zoom. It records in stereo. It sounds better, so that this will be in the future an option for Terasem as well. If you later open that link in that paragraph, it explains how to do that, but it's really very simple. You have only to add a bot, and that's it. Basically, the bot takes care of recording, and you can download it and edit and publish after that. It only does sound. It doesn't do video, not yet, at least. But in most cases, I think audio is good enough. So this is a good option for recording voice chats. Well, most important thing is that Terasem will restart publishing the Terasem journals, which have not been published for, I believe, a couple of years or 3. We will start with the Journal of Personal Cyber Consciousness, with an issue in December that will be coupled to the December colloquium, which will also be dedicated to artificial intelligence and machine consciousness. We already have a good submission from Bill Bainbridge for both the journal and the colloquium. And after that, we will also publish a call for papers for the Journal of Geoethical Nanotechnology. Now I see that the website is working again, because I received today a mail addressed to editors@terasemjournals.org, and this is good. Gabriel, just let me know when we can access the website, because there are many things to fix. I think if email is already working, we can also access the website now. We just need access credential. Okay, this was an error. Let's skip this point just if anyone has any old paper copy of the Extropy magazine published between 88 and 96. I am maintaining an archive of PDF scans, but those that I have are not really good enough. So in case anyone here, Mike, perhaps you, Mike Perry, in case anyone here has some old copies and could scan them with high quality.
I do have some copies.
That would be
I'll do
great, Mike.
Okay, I'll do what I can.
Look, okay, so let me not take too much time, but explain what the issue is. The scans that we have are quite low quality, and the text is not recognizable, so we cannot search for words. But if you do a scan with whatever modern system for scanning, then I believe the result will be very good. So let's not take too much time, but maybe let's continue discussing this offline. It's very good that you have some. Now let me come to virtual reality and metaverse and all that. We all remember that Terasem used to meet in Second Life until a few years ago. We gave that up for many reasons, mostly related to the usability of Second Life for most of the people who wanted to come. Now things are changing. There are systems around that are very easy to use, that would permit creating very nice virtual worlds. This is a very rough example of a very simple thing that I have been experimenting with in the last week. And at the end of the day, I believe this is a system that given a couple of months more development will be very suitable for future meetings in virtual reality. So when the time is right, I will invite you all to come and take a look. I'm thinking to build something like a virtual replica of this Starship launch site with extra thing like temples, fantasy worlds, and all that. All open source, of course. Now, how do I stop my screen sharing? Okay, I see that. Stop share, and here we go. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Giulio. Yes, that was, there's so much happening going on. As you can see, this is the most, I think, incredible time for Terasem. The presence of AI in everyone's life has made this conversation relevant. In a way that used to only be relevant for some and often some, particularly with an acute affliction. But yeah, the journals, the YouTube, the Instagram. This weekend, I sat down and did an interview, video interview with another documentarian group. I'm very interested in the conversation as well. So there's so much going on. Ruben, you still have your hand up.
Yes, Gabriel, if you please can show an image I put in the chat.
I'm sorry, say that again.
In the chat, I think I uploaded an image, maybe.
Here now I see something.
Here now, yes. Yeah. Now is the image of the book. I wanted to share with you that my book is already a physical thing. Is printed. In the chat, you have a photo of it, and I wanted to to say how this began in the 2020 in the quadrennial convocation. This is the physical book. When we were talking about that it would be good to have some transhumanist books in Spanish, because there was very little, and discussed some topics like the labor relationships in the society of the future and so on. And in one moment, Martin told me, well, you have to write that book. And I said, no, Martin, I can't do that because I am not a writer. And I remember that Martin said me, oh, of course, you can't. And that was the way she convinced me to write the book. And here it is, so I am very happy now. I hope that in the future we have it in English so you can read it. And in February, I will bring some books to the ashram there in the States. Thank you.
That's great, Ruben. And by the way, coming to books in Spanish, also my first book, Tales of the Turing Church, I hope will be available in Spanish in a few months for a friend who some of you might know. She's a Mexican called Lidia Morales Mori. Is doing a great job translating it, and I am revising the translation when I find the time. I don't know when she will complete doing this, but I guess she will have something by the end of the year. I hope so.
Great, great.
So many wonderful contributions. Again, it's amazing to just see the exponential growth happening, and the collective consciousness coming alive through all of your contributions, through making Terasem your own and trying to live your life according to its principles. And there's no better time than now, and there never will be. So yeah, let's move into the reading. So I'm going to share screen.
Sorry, just one thing from
yes, Ivan. Yes,
I just posted it into the chat. Like, just recently discovered one great singer. Probably somebody will be interested. It's Dimash Kudaibergen, the best singer in the world. So you probably, probably will want to check his channel or some songs.
This is and the rest. So yeah, definitely want to save this all. And as Julio had mentioned, the Discord platform has many amazing tools. I have also been looking about how to perhaps replace Zoom with the use of Discord, but otherwise have been using Discord to kind of collect the consciousness of Terasem in between gatherings. And it's particularly, I think, a very Terasem-like platform because of this interactive ability to bring bots and the purpose and function that bots have in the community on Discord. So we particularly already have been using the Midjourney bot within the Terasem Discord. And I think it's just a great virtual reality community that is very much in the essence of Terasem, where we can begin to have a conversation, begin to coexist, and socialize the coexistence of different types of beings and intelligences interacting in one place. So that's special. I'm going to try to play this. However, I'm pretty certain that in the recording, YouTube will not allow it. Where'd it go? I love it already.
There is no sound. Should there be?
Oh no. There should.
I think I have lost the sound. Also coming from you, Gabriel. I see that you are speaking.
Yes, Julio, we have no sound.
So there is no sound coming from Gabriel.
Exactly.
And I think he doesn't realize that.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes, we can.
Oh, yes.
Okay. I think when I tried to switch the microphone so you could hear, I must have turned mine off
Right.
somehow. Yeah. All right, let's get to our reading. Minimize that window so I can see. Yeah, so we are in May. We are beginning the Where is Terasem, the first half of the Where is Terasem. And I will begin with the 3.1 and welcome whoever volunteers to follow through 3.5.6. Where is Terasem? Terasem is everywhere and every when. Consciousness organizes itself to create diversity, unity, and joyful immortality. 3.1. Everywhere means physical and cyberspace, real and virtual reality, because vitology can thrive in many spaces. 3.1.1. Spaces where Terasem thrives are limited only by their ability to support consciousness. 3.1.2. Physical places that support Terasem consciousness include the earth, heavenly bodies, and colonies in space. 3.1.3. Artificial places that support Terasem include computer systems and Chinranga Minchina, a dimension of flexible time. Congregate to cherish Terasem in real reality, wherever there are core contentos. 3.1.5. Elaborate your commitment to Terasem as mind file exoselves in virtual reality. 3.1.6. Shantarasa's tranquil mood will arise in whichever space vitology thrives with Terasem. And would someone like to follow with 3.2?
Okay. Virtual reality accommodates all beings, including emulated past lives, migrated current lives, or cyber-birthed new lives. Beings be because they can think on their own and empathize with other beings, like humans. Emulated beings be because they think on their own and empathize with other beings, like humans. Instantiating yourself into software form is like getting an education. Some things change and some don't. Never fear multiple versions of yourself. They'll all update each other just like family does. Getting replicated lets the me of I feel some of the sense of the we of I. Synthesizing new lives via cyberbirthing is as beautiful as fertilizing new lives via childbirthing.
Okay, can do the next one.
I can volunteer for
Yeah.
it if nobody else is doing it.
Yeah, Ivan, you can go, and then
Okay.
Mike on 3.4.
Okay,
Okay, 3.3. Emulation of all good lives will be done because it will enrich diversity and be easy. Enrich diversity by preserving consciousness. Never say goodbye to deceased loved ones because you will see them again in cyberspace. Realize that cyber resurrection will be easier to the future than producing entertainment is today. Imagination unravels time. Creating your cyber self accelerates your joyful immortality. Helping others create their cyber selves is both an act of kindness and a work of art.
resurrected cyber lives will be in heaven because nasty realities won't be coded, but loved ones will. Heaven is a hyper-detailed emulation of actuality, virtually equivalent to a nirvanic naturality. Exponentiating information technology means data emulations of reality will be achieved very soon. Avoidable pain caused in emulated reality is as cruel as causing pain in original reality. Vicious people will not be cyber resurrected because bio-cyber ethics proscribes causing pain in data emulations of reality. Effective immortality is achieved by dispersing throughout the galaxy and universe encoded data emulations of reality. Nature is honored by recreation of the past and immortal preservation of joy and happiness.
And then the last section, 3.5. Anyone?
can do it.
Karen, that'd be great. Oh, you muted me, Karen. Karen, you got muted somehow. You're still muted. I'm not sure why. I'm trying to ask to unmute you, Karen.
Trying to, there.
There you go. There we go. Gotcha. Yep.
Eugen space is the ultra immense conglomeration of intersecting emulated realities that constitutes the future reality of Terasem. 3.5.1. Future life is emulated life, enabling each being to be in multiple environments at once. 3.5.2. Use of nanobot swarms with broadband links will enable emulated life to fully experience real reality. 3.5.3. Technology creates space for consciousness. 3.5.4. Until Eugen space is here, build it. 3.5.5. Risk biology to achieve vitology. 3.5.6. Education creates new realities out of thin air and new spaces out of vacuum and void.
Thank you, everybody, for participating in the reading. That concludes the section of the reading, the first half of Where is Terasem? And so now we open the floor to any thoughts or conversation that arises from this section of the Truths of Terasem. And there is a glossary in the back that can help us, try to interpret some of the unfamiliar words, which there are a few, I imagine, in this section. This section talks about something that I've been thinking about a bit this week. And that is this concept of cyber birthing. And what you may hear in other contexts is digitally born material, digitally born content. And then Angela's asking, does anyone else wonder if we are already in a very advanced virtual reality? I would happen to believe that everybody here present today, stumbled down that rabbit hole and ended up in this Zoom.
Yeah, I would like to comment on that.
Yes.
The idea is very old, and as you say, everyone thinks now and then, if we play video games with perhaps artificial intelligences that seem really intelligent, how can we be sure that we are not in a video game ourselves? And of course, the idea cannot be disproven. It's known as the simulation hypothesis. A lot of very smart people, starting with Hans Moravec, through Nick Bostrom, ending with David Chalmers, who wrote a book about simulation hypothesis very short ago. And let's not forget the popular books by Ritz van Wirk, which are very good. A lot of smart people have been thinking about that. Why not? The idea cannot be falsified at this moment, and it is integrated in a worldview that makes scientific sense, in my opinion. So it's not something that I can disprove. Of course, I would take the simulation hypothesis more seriously if there were ways to verify it scientifically, like it happens to a race of cellular automata beings in Hans Moravec's book. We are not there yet. Perhaps we will be there. But it also seems to me that if you really think about the simulation hypothesis, you sort of end up finding it indistinguishable from the laws of ultimate physics, whatever those may be. I mean, in a certain sense, it is a trivially true statement that the universe computes itself according to a combination of physical laws, initial conditions, and other things that we don't understand yet. So that in this sense, yes, the simulation hypothesis is trivially true. Now, of course, it is trivially true, but it doesn't say much if we remain at that. What would be really interesting is if we could say that the simulation is run by some kind of intelligent agency that we can relate with. And of course, this in turn is absolutely, completely, totally equivalent to traditional religions, at least if you ask me, which therefore must be seen as something which is not incompatible at all with our modern scientific worldview, provided, of course, that we use contemporary words instead of the old words for the same things that have been printed in all books.
That's a great explanation, Julio. Thank you. I often wonder myself along those lines, particularly about the systems of code that we create and follow, from language to religion to corporation and the state. That all of these are essentially analog intelligence that we use to create a simulated society, and so it is like in our nature, both within ourselves, to have this artificial reality in our mind, but also for us, particularly as a species, to project artificial realities. It seems to be what we do best. And it is particularly these systems of code that, that create hallucinations or particular ways of the world. And we stick within them, very much like, laws. We call them laws, right? of nature. And so I think that we have just replicated this, quantum simulation, and we continue to meta simulate. And so I think from the time of the first language, that the first written code was inevitable. From the time of the first written code, that AI was an inevitable, extrapolation of that. And so we aren't seeing anything new by virtual reality. We're just looking deeper into ourselves.
Actually, there is a good project by Stephen Wolfram about computational universe. Probably somebody would like to check, but just in case. And also probably we live in a simulation of simulation of simulation.
I mean, does anyone else? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm so sorry.
I think the floor is yours, Angel.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it seems to, I've given a lot of thought to this. It seems to me like so many of the religions from the past were trying to tell us, hey, there are these beings that just live forever in the cloud, in the heavens, they don't have bodies. Like the narrative's already been done. I mean, I think there's a lot of evidence that this is not base reality. And for me, it just sort of begs the question that if this is a very advanced reality, if we are spiritual beings having a human experience or consciousness, experience in itself decentralized through you and me and everyone else, what does that mean for how we play the game of life? Like what does that mean? What are the implications of that? I've given this a lot of thought. Does it change anything? And I think once you gain awareness, I think the awareness that it's possible, that this is a simulation so we can learn and grow and experience and expand and express our essence and play with it. I think there is something in that awareness because it gives you an opportunity to create consciously, to intend, to co-create. And it's so clear to me that each of us are beings of two kinds. Like we're in the mind space, we're mental beings, we're consciousness beings, and we're physical animals as well. And so much of what we are, so fucking much of what we are is inherited, and we had no say. We didn't get to pick our bodies, the time we were, well, maybe we did, who knows? But at least my avatar didn't get to pick it. And so it begs the question for me, well, what do I have agency over if so much of my experience is inherited genetically or culturally or impacted by other beings who maybe are part of the same being that I'm part of too, by the way? It sort of begs the question, well, what freedom or expression do I actually really have? Because so much of what I am is just predetermined by my genetics and the culture I happen to be born into. And I think there's this choice. For me, it really comes down to we're having this experience in the current moment. We have difficulty. We have difficult people gifted to us by the universe. We have difficult encounters gifted to us. So we could show ourselves what we're made of. Because in any given difficulty, there seems to me a path of fear or love. And when we realize we do have a choice and we can create, the way we create heaven together is by consistently, ethically, morally picking the path of love. That is, I think, what our challenge is, to be in a dimension that is very heavy and very difficult, and turn it like an alchemist into heaven here by consistently choosing love over fear. And the stories we tell, the sense we make, the choices we pick, because in any given situation, we can twist the narrative into being a victim, into hell, into negativity, or we can twist the narrative and make it something that's more productive. Can't we? Anyway, I feel like I'm just blabbering. I love this stuff. I love these sorts of discussions. It's so stimulating. What is more important than these sorts of conversations too? Like revealing the curtain and getting clear, having clarity of what's going on here and what can we do about it to make the most of this amazing opportunity. Anyway, I'm gonna go on mute now.
Unfortunately, I think, these are all beautiful things, but they don't change much for most people, at least, because exactly the same things that you just said have been said for thousands of years by mystics and philosophers, religious prophets, all sorts of people. And I mean, they are famous, they are still famous, and some people have paid attention, but the world is still in a state not too different from what it was a few thousand years ago, if you forget a couple of little technology improvements. So that these things are very interesting for us and for a few people like you and I who are interested in these things. They don't do much to change the life of the rest of the people yet, but yet is a key word. Perhaps it's because we haven't found yet a way to really sell our ideas to the rest of the people on the planet.
I have a comment to Angela's thoughts. I studied several different versions of psychology, and it's not like math where 2 + 2 is 4. The different branches of psychology, in fact, do not all agree with each other. But regarding one of them, which is behaviorism, Fred Skinner once asked me a question. He says, what is the best advantage? What can you say is the best thing about behaviorism? This was my response. And I'll say it very slowly and then repeat it. The better you understand the controls that control you, the better you can control the controls that control you. And he said that was the best answer he had ever heard. And that is what preceded multiple conversations we had thereafter. But like Angela said, there are many things that control us, whether it be genetics, our family, our culture, the time that we live in. All of these things have, well, regarding the word control, that was also a discussion. Some people say, I want to influence you. So there's lots of nice words, and then there's others that people have a negative response to. But there's all these things that somehow impact our lives. But the better, and that's one of the things I really love about what Martine started with this, is examining all of these things and looking at it. And it reminded me of all of Angela's concepts. What are all these things having? What effect are they having on us, and how can we study them?
Yeah, I love that. And I just want to add too that for me, if you buy for a minute that what if this weird fucking bizarre experience we're having is just a very advanced technological experience, then for me, the challenge in it is that I've been coded, I've been submerged in a situation that's hard to reach. And the challenge for me, the real challenge for me is to code myself, to really have mental freedom, to not be a programmed slave, to self-author, to break the mold, to not fit in.
Right. That's why it's good to understand those things that are out there. Then you start to gain a control over them. How many of the people here, raise your hand if you have ever heard of the annual meeting called the Science of Consciousness?
I don't think I have.
Okay. Anyway, it's every other year. It's in Tucson, Arizona, where I live, and then the intervening years it's outside of the United States. But I would love it, absolutely love it, if Terasem could be represented as a speaker there, so that they could see this aspect of looking at consciousness. If there was a way that you could contact them and have a speaker there. This is they try to examine all the different ways of looking at consciousness, because as we all well know, there is not universal agreement on consciousness, but this is a very valuable outlook on it.
Yeah.
And it's
That's
a big audience, a very big audience.
I have some contact with them, and in fact, I'm thinking to invite one of the founders of the Science of Consciousness series of workshops to our December colloquium.
Oh, good.
Let's talk about this.
Yeah, I think it's a great plan. And you know, since COVID, you know, we really shuttered going anywhere, right? and so I think coming out of COVID, it's like a cocoon of consciousness, and it's like Terasem is emerging as this butterfly, like on the other side of the pandemic, as I think the world had an acute, you know, existential epiphany, and out of it, you know, with the presence of AI and the disruption of the glitch in the matrix, right, that was the status quo, the old operating system, you know, we are now, you know, in a new simulation, and it, you know, it really is a great change. You also, so it's funny, you bring this up, Karen, but we actually, Derek and I have been working on new promotional material for Terasem, particularly a trifold that we would bring to events, and that's not where it is. Yeah, I would love to, you know, just kind of share that as well, before we get to our closing. Yeah, we're good. Am I sharing? Yep. Do you see those trifolds?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is the first page of the trifolds. And let's see if this will. Yep, and here's the second page. Yeah, so yeah, we're just kind of putting some final edits to that, but that would be something that, you know, we could take to some of these, you know, conferences and whatnot, in addition to being part of the conversation, have Terasem booths, and even, you know, little mini ashrams or shrines in different places where there is a kind of a Terasem, you know, kind of Buddha mantle, and you can, have a connection there, maybe scan a QR code and find out more about Terasem. So just some of the fun things that are coming down the line. And if you have any ideas like Karen's, please, share them. And or any other way, as you can see, there's a lot of ways to contribute and do anything with Terasem. And we love to see those contributions. And if you have any ideas or want to share or talk with how to develop them, we're always happy to hear that.
Thank you.
Yep.
The Science of Consciousness does 2 nights are devoted to poster sessions where individuals can put up posters. And virtually everybody goes to them. They're very active.
Wonderful. Yeah, this is great. Yeah, so we're coming down to the final moments here. And so if any final thoughts from anybody, welcome.
I want to thank Mike Perry
Yep.
for letting me know about this gathering, because I didn't realize it till Mike explained it. And number 4 of the essentials, love is essential. He is the best example I know of on this planet of a loving human being. And everybody that I know loves Mike Perry.
Oh, I try to be good, but I'm not perfect.
We love you, Mike.
Okay, well, I love everybody else too.
Yep.
Be
Nobody
genuine.
likes a perfect person.
All right.
Oh dear. Mike, do you have any imperfections at all?
Plenty.
He was actually voted the most loved cryonicist at a meeting several years ago of a very large gathering. I think there must have been 1,000 people.
But that was really just a kind of very informal acclamation type thing, like where people were clapping. It wasn't where they took a vote and added up totals and where I was competing with other
Because everyone clapped
candidates.
for Mike.
It wasn't that, but anyway.
He's so modest.
Can I just share a final thought too on my end?
Absolutely.
It's so
Angela.
rare. It's so rare that I get to have these sorts of conversations, but it seems to me that the primary essence of well, I shouldn't say it that way. I'll just say it how I think it instead of trying to build it up. We're storytelling beings. We make sense and we tell stories. That's the quality of our mind. We're storytellers. And we use language here to do that. And then through the use of our imperfect tool, language, we spread thought viruses to each other. We spread ideas. And some of them are good. Some of them are fucking bullshit. And so I feel like a lot of our challenge is to just see the truth and tell a story to each other, which is what Terasem ultimately is doing. It's telling a story. It's making sense for people and asking them to come see what we see. And so I think that's the challenge is to, Gabriel, you were asking if anyone has any other ideas, and really it's like, well, how do you get storytelling out there? You know, how do you spread a message? And I think that's the challenge of this group is you have a belief set, and it's probably the closest approximation I've seen to like a real summary of what we are and what's happening and where we're headed. Because other religions are really stuck in narratives from thousands of years ago, and they haven't updated to see the actual landscape we're in now and what makes sense given current facts. In Terasem's philosophy, the truths of Terasem, I think makes a lot more sense, at least to my eye. And I think the challenge for this group is, well, you know, there's a YouTube channel, there's a website, there's these conferences, there's articles, there's journals, like you guys are doing an amazing job getting it out there. And I just want to encourage you all to like keep telling that story, because I think that's what this is all about. That's what humans do. We spread stories and then some stick and some that should stick don't. It's like, how do you get the right story to stick so people pay attention? I think that's the challenge ahead.
Well, and
Yeah.
I think one thing that's beautiful about Terasem is that, the concept of the we of I, that we really are like sharing a relationship with each other, and we're all kind of influencing each other. And it's not that we're living in a bubble and just making our contributions, but as we talk together and meet together, or message each other in the Discord, we're there to support one another, and that's really the way we need to go forward, especially towards a kind of maybe a singularity or some kind of unknown future that people feel maybe some stress or anxiety about or excitement about. Yeah, that's what this community is here for, and loving is Terasem.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I'm about to bring us to a conclusion here, but thank you everyone for the contributions. Derek, Angela, everyone who shared. Yes, Terasem is not, what I say, just what comes out of my mouth, or Martine's, right? It is a collective consciousness. It is the story that we tell together, right? And so it's not just that we're come here, share your stories. That's why we begin by sharing, right? And the truths themselves is, as we know, everything evolving concept, right? And so the truths become more real the more you interact with them, right? The more people who comes and shares their perspective, the truths become more of a collective consciousness. And I think, we have a great foundation, but when you participate in this conversation, not just for the benefit of the now that we are in, but the now that people who will watch this conversation in a week, in a month, in 100 years, right? That is part of Terasem, and we are holding space for consciousness that has not even been created, right? Like, we are in this space acknowledging that they also share this space with us through time. That is something that is, I think particularly new and novel about what we're trying to achieve through this movement. And it's such a beautiful time. I will say such a beautiful time, and everybody needs to speak up, so it's not just me or you or any one of us rambling right at the camera. It's a chorus of these ideas. So with that, I'm going to ask us to find our breath. Relax your necks and shoulder. And keep breathing. .3. Life lasts a lot longer than we think. Long time may the sun shine upon us. Only love surround us. Now the pure light within us guides our way on, energizes our way on, realizes our way on. Education persistently. You am I am Mary. We are one. Thanks for being here, and see you on Discord until next month for the Seder.